Good morning. Today we pick up the last question in this eschatology little interlude that we've been doing in the Afterlife series. So we've been looking at some of the bigger questions about end times, which have not been a part of the Afterlife series. That's been more personal eschatology, our life, death, judgment, heaven, hell, all that. So far this week we've looked at, are we living in the end times, the question of the rapture, also talked about the millennium and tribulation. Today, I want to talk about the Antichrist. So, surprisingly, the term Antichrist is used by John only in his letters. So John writes the gospel, he writes letters, he writes the book of Revelation. The term Antichrist is not found in the book of Revelation. John uses it in his letters to refer, both in the singular and the plural, by the way, and he uses it to refer to those who deny that Jesus is God or those who deny that Jesus came in the flesh. Because Gnosticism, this anti-physical bucket of heresies, that very sort of Greek influence, all that I've talked about before. We've got Gnosticism rising again. People think that they are not a body, just like a hermit crab, like I have a body. I'm a soul, but I have a body. My body doesn't matter. That's not the biblical teaching. The biblical teaching isn't that we have a body, it's that we are a body. And at the separation of our body and our soul, at the time of our death, during that intermediate state, that's not the ideal. That's an intermediate state. And the hope is for the resurrection of the body to unite with our soul, because that is good. The physical world is good. So John refers to those who deny that Jesus is God or that Jesus came in the flesh. They deny that. He refers to them as the Antichrist. But the term has overtones then to what we see in the book of Revelation and other things that Paul will write in 1 Thessalonians and other things, to people who are particularly powerful in lining up against God. So the book of Revelation uses the term the beast to refer, in places where you might expect to see Antichrist, they use the term the beast. And so, and there seems to be, in some eschatological scenarios, a rise of a particular beast, a particular Antichrist. And so throughout history, there have been Antichrists, or there have been people who have lined up against God. Antiochus Epiphanes was a person during the intertestamental period that desecrated the Jewish temple. He gets labeled being a particular, beast, anti-God kind of figure. Nero, who comes right after the book of Acts ends and is likely the guy who orders the death of Peter and of Paul. Nero is considered an Antichrist figure, but then we have the authors of Scripture sort of envisioning a future Antichrist, a beast, who is going to be the culmination of evil and everything that is against God and his plans and Christians. So Paul describes this character by describing and saying that he will oppose and will exalt himself over everything that is called God or is worshipped, so that he sets himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. So the coming of this one, sometimes referred to as the lawless one, is going to be in accordance with really how our enemy, the adversary, how Satan works. And we'll use all kinds of displays of power and signs and wonders that will serve as a lie and will mislead people down towards a path that is ultimately wicked and destructive. So, like I said, there's this understanding of the beast, the Antichrist. And by the way, there's a lot of talk about the mark of the beast, the sign of the beast, right? And the mark of the beast is often understood to be some number that would be printed on your right hand or on your forehead. And people speculate, is it a microchip? Is it a tattoo? What exactly is the mark of the beast? So I'm not convinced that it's an actual physical, literal mark in that sense, because again, the book of Revelation is a little challenging to read. Here's the passage in discussion here. from Revelation. It also forced, so the beast forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, slave and free, to receive a mark on their right hand or their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. The point here being that there's some sort of totalitarian regime. And you can certainly imagine how this can unfold. I mean, we're seeing lots of movement in this direction that certainly gets my attention as marching closer and closer to the end. Now, I'll just note two things here. One, lots of speculation as to who the Antichrist is. You know, you read through history and people have thought, well, it's Hitler for sure. Certainly he's killing the Jews. It's Stalin. It's I've read discussions that it's, when I was in high school, just considering Christianity, there was an argument that Kissinger was the Antichrist. So you get lots of speculation about this. And what we get here is this, again, this impression of this totalitarian, chaotic, evilly led end of the world. And it marches towards this kind of a figure who will be demanding total worship and respect and adulation and attention. And they're claiming to be God or to be over God or all these kinds of things. And so, look, I just want to say, you just want to stay close to Jesus, right? You don't have to worry, am I going to be misled? Stay close to Jesus. You don't have to worry if the Antichrist is coming. Is he going to overcome things, and is he going to prevail? No. Evil loses. Evil loses. God wins. The victory has already started when Jesus defeated death and rose from the grave. And the unfolding of God's plan is happening. And so God wins. You're with God. Things are okay. Stay with God. Don't be misled. Seek Jesus. Have a good day.